शलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशकारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने कौर्तुषे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमस्ते तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी नमामि हरिप्रिये पंचकल्पतरुर्भ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नमस्ते व्यासविशालबुद्धे पुल्लारविन्दायतपत्रनेत्रे येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्णः प्रज्वलितो ज्ञानमय प्रदीपः प्रपन्नपरिजाताय स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। So we're discussing chapter 2. We'll start with the new section today. I mean, we already started with the new section in the last class. We'll continue with that. So we were discussing about Buddhi Yoga. Lord Krishna said, Neha vikramanashosti pratyavayo nivityate swalpamapyasa dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. If one performs even little endeavor on this path, there is no loss or diminution. That's what we read, right? On the path of karma, you have to do two things properly. Then you get the result. First is 100% complete the work. Then only you get the result. Second is there should not be any kind of imperfection or mistake in the work. Then only you get the result. But both of these don't apply to the path of bhakti. Even if you don't do it 100%, you get result. Even if you do it imperfectly or improperly, still you get result. Right? Isn't it? That's what we discussed last time. So now we'll discuss about Vyavasayatmika Buddhi, verse 2.41 of this chapter. Vyavasayatmika Buddhir Ekeha Kuru Nandana Bahushakha Yanantascha Buddhayo Vyavasayinam. Those who are on this path are resolute in purpose and their aim is one. O beloved child of the Gurus, the intelligence of those who are irresolute is many branched. Vyavasayatmika Buddhi, resolute in Krishna consciousness. This verse is very important because Srila Prabhupada derived great inspiration from this verse. When he read the commentary of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur on this verse, he became convinced that he should strictly follow the order of his spiritual master. And that should be his life and soul. Then he should try to preach in English language. We'll read the purport. Gunagraya Garan Prabhu. Yes, now unmute yourself.
Hare Krishna Guruji. Purport. A strong faith that by Krishna consciousness one will be elevated to the highest perfection of life is called Babushaitmika intelligence. The Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila 22.62 states, Shraddha Shabde Vishas Kahe Shudira Nishway Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sharva Karma Krita Hai. Faith means unflinching trust in something sublime. When one is engaged in the duties of Krishna consciousness, he need not act in relationship to the material world with obligation to family traditions, humanity, or nationality. Fruitive activities are the engagement of one's reaction from past good or bad deeds. When one is awake in Krishna consciousness, he need no longer endeavor for good results in his activities. When one is situated in Krishna consciousness, all activities are on the absolute plane, for they are no longer subject to dualities like good and bad. The highest perfection of Krishna consciousness is renunciation of the material conception of life. This state is automatically achieved by progressive Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna.
Shamalama Krishna.
The resolute purpose of a person in Krishna consciousness is based on knowledge. Vasudeva Sarvam iti sa Mahatma su durlabha. A person in Krishna consciousness is the rare good soul who knows perfectly that Vasudeva or Krishna is the root of all manifested causes. As by watering the root of a tree, one automatically distributes water to the leaves and branches. So, by acting in Krishna consciousness, one can render the highest service to everyone, namely self, family, society, country, humanity, etc. If Krishna is satisfied by one's actions, then everyone will be satisfied. Service in Krishna consciousness is, however, best practiced under the able guidance of a spiritual master who is a bona fide representative of Krishna, who knows the nature of the student and who can guide him to act in Krishna consciousness. As such, to be well versed in Krishna consciousness, one has to act firmly and obey the representative of Krishna. And one should accept the instructions of the bona fide spiritual master as one's mission in life. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Tagore instructs us in his famous prayers for the spiritual master as follows. Vyasa prasada bhagavad prasado yasya prasadan na gati kutopi jyayanstu vasansya yasyastri sandhyam vande gurosri charanara vindam. By satisfaction of the spiritual master, the Supreme Personality of Godhead becomes satisfied. And by not satisfying the spiritual master, there is no chance of being promoted to the plane of Krishna consciousness. I should therefore meditate and pray for his mercy 3 times a day and offer my respectable obeisances unto him, my spiritual master. The whole process, however, depends on perfect knowledge of the soul behind the conception of the body, not theoretically but practically, when there is no longer a chance for sense gratification manifested in fruitive activities. One who is not firmly fixed in mind is diverted by various types of fruitive activities, fruitive acts. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. So, what is this Vyavasthatmika intelligence? A strong faith that by Krishna consciousness one will be elevated to the highest perfection of life. It's called Vyavasthatmika intelligence. Shraddha, Shatya, Vishwas ko hai sudrida nishthay. You know, when you come across people outside the path of Vedic practices, like Christianity, Islam, etc., or even those who are on the path of Hinduism, they may also say, we believe in God. We are faithful people. We have faith. But that faith is very puny, very small. You know, here, that kind of faith is not being spoken about. When someone says to you, in casual language, have faith on Krishna, that's not the faith that is being described here. Here, a very high level of faith is being described. The faith on pure devotional service to Krishna. And what is that faith? Shraddha, Shabde, Vishwas, Kahe, Sudrida Nishchay. That determination, that strong determination that if I just do Krishna Bhakti, my everything else in life will be taken care of. That kind of faith. That is being described as faith here. That Krishna Bhakti koile sarva karma krita ho. If I do Krishna Bhakti, all my endeavors, whether they are my material endeavors or my spiritual endeavors, they will attain perfection. If I do Krishna Bhakti. That kind of faith. That is called Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. Right? This is the faith of pure devotional service. So Prabhupada says the resolute purpose of a person in Krishna consciousness is based on knowledge. Now, how do you develop this faith? You develop this faith based on knowledge. What is that knowledge? Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samahatma Durlabha. That Vasudeva, Lord Krishna, is everything. He is the root of everything. So if I water the root, how can I not get the good results? That's the highest service that I can do. So this kind of faith is Vyavasayatmika Buddhi, right? And let me tell you something honestly, that the faith we generally have in our Krishna consciousness, that is general faith, Samanya Shraddha, general faith. However, when we study Nectar of Devotional Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, some of you have already studied that, there a higher level of Shraddha is being spoken about. Shraddha on pure devotional service. So, what is, please hear this attentively. What is Nishtha for a general devotee? You know the 9 stages of bhakti, right? Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajan Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, Nishtha. What is next after Nishtha? We'll be studying all this in detail in Madhurya Kadamagi. Nishtha after Nishtha is Ruchi, Asakti, Bhav, Prem. So, in general, what is Nishtha for mediocre devotees? That is the level of Shraddha for people practicing pure devotion. Are you getting it? What is Nishtha for mediocre, ordinary devotees? That is actually the first stage or Shraddha for those practicing pure devotion service, which is quite high. So that's described here as Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. One point at intelligence. Krishna Bhakti, if I do, everything will be taken care of. Everything will be taken care of. That kind of bhakti, that kind of attitude. Prabhupada talks about it then, service to spiritual master and all those things which he was inspired about from the commentary of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Now, next two verses we'll look at, and then we'll go to verse number 44. Yam imam pushpitam vacham pravadanti avvipaschitaha vedavadarataha partha nanyadastiti vadinaha kamatmanah swargapara janma karma phala pradam kriya vishesha bahuna bhog aishwarya gatim prati. Men of small knowledge are very much attached to the flowery words of the Vedas, which recommend various fruitive activities for elevation to heavenly planets, result in good birth, power, and so forth. Being desirous of sense gratification, opulent life, they say that there is nothing more than this. So here, a stark contrast is being given. One is of those who are fixed in their intelligence to perform Krishna consciousness, and completely opposite to them are those who are attached to the Vedas, but within the Vedas, they only look for means of doing greater and better sense gratification. If I do this, I'll be more happy materially. If I do that, I'll be more happy materially. So let's read the purport here. Nagarajan. Let's read one paragraph.
People in general are not very intelligent, and due to their ignorance, they are most attached to the fruitive activities recommended in the Karmakanda portions of the Vedas. They do not want anything more than sense gratificatory proposals for enjoying life in heaven, where wine and women are available and material opulence is very common. In the Vedas, many sacrifices are recommended for the elevation to the heavenly planets, especially the Jyotishtoma sacrifices. In fact, it is stated that anyone desiring elevation to heavenly planets must perform these sacrifices. And men with a poor fund of knowledge think that this is the whole purpose of Vedic wisdom. It is very difficult for such inexperienced persons to be situated in the determined action of Krishna consciousness. As fools are attached to the flowers of poisonous trees without knowing the results of such attractions. Unenlightened men are similarly attracted by such heavenly opulences and the sense enjoyment thereof. Correction.
Thank you. Next. Aparajitama.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. In the Karma Kanda section of the Vedas, it is said, Apama Somam Amrita Abhuma and Akshayam Ave Chaturmasya Yajna Shukritam Bhavati. In other words, those who perform the 4-month penances become eligible to drink the Soma Rasa beverage to become immortal and happy forever. Even on this earth, some are very eager to have Soma Rasa to become strong and fit to enjoy sense gratification. Such persons have no faith in liberation from material bondage, and they are very much attached to the pompous ceremonies of Vedic sacrifices. They are generally sensual and they do not want anything other than the heavenly pleasures of life. It is understood that there are gardens called Nandana Kanana, in which there is good opportunity for association with angelic beautiful women and having a profound supply of Somarasa wine. Such bodily happiness is certainly sensual. Therefore, there are those who are purely attached to such material temporary happiness as lords of the material world. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Next. Bhogeshwarya prasaktanam tayapahita chetasam vyavasayatmika buddhihi samadho na vidhiyate. In the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence, and who are bewildered by such things, the resolute determination for devotional service to the Supreme Lord does not take place. So, Vyavasayatmika Buddhi has these two enemies. What are they? Too much attachment to sense enjoyment and material opulence. Little attachment, not a problem. Too attachment to sense gratification and material opulence. For such a person, this resolute determination for devotional service does not take place. A short purport, Prabhupada says, Samadhi means fixed mind. The Vedic dictionary, the Nirukti says, Samyak adhiyate asmin atma tattva yathatmayam. When the mind is fixed for understanding the self, it is said to be in Samadhi. Samadhi is never possible for persons interested in material sense enjoyment and bewildered by such temporary things. They are more or less condemned by the process of material energy. So, now one may say, I mean, what's wrong if you have sense gratification? What's wrong? What's wrong with living life king size and enjoying it to one's fullest capacity? And you do that in a lawful manner. Don't break any laws of the scriptures. Don't commit theft. Don't commit any sinful activity in an honest way. Earn a lot of money and enjoy life. What's wrong?
Prabhuji, may I?
Yeah.
Prabhuji, by doing that, we are only enjoying this one life. We are not thinking about our future lives. So it's not a correct way of life.
Okay.
Prabhuji,
Now, Rajan.
Prabhuji, by doing this sense gratification by lawful manner, we are accumulating punyas. So these punyas we are accumulating these punyas in this janma. To enjoy this punya again, we have to take birth. So the cycle goes on. And while taking this birth and death, it is not sure we always do punya. Sometimes we will do means vikarma also. So for that again we have to take birth. So the cycle will be it will round like anything.
Okay, thank
Hare
you.
Krishna Prabhuji, may I?
Prabhuji,
Yeah, one at a time, please. Shrishti.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Shrishti.
Yeah.
Can I?
Yeah.
We can anyway not like anyways it's not possible to enjoy life to its fullest capacity for a long time because suffering is there like anyways, so it's not possible in this world to enjoy it because health conditions, anything, even like if we try to enjoy it, it's not possible because there will be something which is not perfect, which is not according to what we want.
Correct. Yes, very true. Getanjali Mataja. Anjali Girdhari Mataji. Now you can talk.
Yes, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. If we do all the things in a lawful manner, then we'll not be we will not get moksha. Na? We'll be taking birth and then death. Birth will be going through that cycle only.
Okay. Any other different point?
Prabhuji,
Yeah.
Can I?
the happiness derived from this will be not complete. It will not give a sense of complete happiness. And you will not be 100% satisfied even after living king size. There will be a sense of something is still missing. You will just keep running behind it and then will be no end to it.
All right. Thank you. Aparajita Madhavi.
Prabhuji, more we enjoy, the more we get attached to the things, and then there is no end for the more sense enjoyment we will seek for. So that is the problem. Like we should keep a limit of it. Like we should not
Overdo it.
Yeah, overdo it.
Yes. Okay.
You will get lusty.
Will become lusty or greedy. Fine. Any other point?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, because when we are doing sense enjoyment, we are thinking only about the material world. But in the material world, there is Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi. But in the eternal Golok, there is no Janma, Mrityu, so Jara, Vyadi. So we can enjoy eternally with the Lord, and the happiness will not be temporary, it will be permanent.
Okay. Okay, thank you. All right. Yes. So all that is correct. In this world, we may enjoy life king size, even in lawful manner. But as you said, we'll get attached. And most importantly, we will have to spend time doing that. And that time will be then lost, which we could have used to make progress in Krishna consciousness. And after all, as you all said, that enjoyment will anyway remain temporary. It will go away. Things will never be perfect the way we desire. So therefore, one should not be too attached to these two things, bhoga and aishwarya, enjoyment and opulence, right? There has to be a sense of satisfaction that whatever I get by required amount of efforts, I should be satisfied with that. I should not over endeavor. In Bhakti-sastri, Srila Rupa Goswami has said 6 things which are detrimental to one's bhakti, and one of them is ati prayasaha, over endeavor. Now, when you are too attached to bhoga and aishwarya, you are going to do over endeavor to get those things. Right or wrong? And when you are going to do over endeavor to get those things, you may get them also, but then you'll be wasting a lot of time to get those things. So that is waste of time. Waste of time if you look at it from Krishna conscious perspective. Right? Rise above gunas. So what should be done? Solution is Krishna suggesting to Arjuna, Trey gunya vishaya veda, nistre gunyo bhavarjuna, nirdvandva nitya sattvasto niryoga shema atmavan. Arjuna, you become free from the modes. Now you see, in the previous section when we discussed about duty, Krishna said, if you want to go to heaven, Arjuna, you should fight. If you want to enjoy this kingdom on planet Earth, you should fight. But at the same time, he is then in this verse or the previous verse saying, don't be attached to too much of opulence. Why 2 different levels of instructions? Because previously Krishna was giving instruction on the level of karma kanda. Now he's giving instruction on a higher level of buddhi yoga. So what was correct at a lower level became wrong at a higher level. Isn't it? Right? So that was being rejected. So here is that the Vedas deal mainly with the subject of the 3 modes of material nature. O Arjuna, become transcendental to these 3 modes, be free from all dualities and from all anxieties for gain and safety, and be established in the self. Let's read the Bhagavad Ragini.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. All material activity involves action and reaction in the 3 modes of material nature. They are meant to fruitive a result, which cause bondage in the material world. The Vedas deal mostly with the fruitive activity to gradually elevate the general public from the field of sense gratification to a position of the transcendental plan. Arjuna, as a student and a friend of Lord Krishna, is advised to raise himself to the transcendental position of Vedanta philosophy, where in the beginning there is a Brahma Jinasa or question on the supreme transcendental. All the living entities who are in the material world are struggling very hard for existence. For them, the Lord, after reaction of the material world, give the Vedic wisdom advising how to live and get rid of the material intelligent. Then the activity for senses, sense gratification, namely the karma kanda chapter, are finished. Then the chance of spiritual realization is offered in the form of the Upanishadasha, which are part of the different Vedas, as the Bhagavad-gita is a part of the 5th Veda, namely the Mahabharata. The Upanishads mark the beginning of the transcendental life. As long as a material body exists, there are the action and reaction in the material moods. One has to learn tolerance in the face of the dualities such as the happiness and distress or cold and warmth.
and by tolerating such velocities become free from anxieties regarding gain and loss. The transcendental position is achieved is full Krishna consciousness when one is fully dependent on the good will of Krishna. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
In the Bhagavad-gita said that in the Vedas, mostly what you get is karma kanda, but then there is a small section of the Vedas known as Upanishad, where actual spiritual learning begins. And then he says Gita is part of the fifth Veda, Mahabharata, which is also in one sense Upanishad. As long as the material body exists, there are actions and reactions in the material modes. One has to learn tolerance in the face of dualities. By tolerating such dualities, one becomes free from anxieties. Right? Next. Yavan artha udapane. Sarvata samplutodake tavan sarveshu vedeshu brahmanasya vichanatapa. So Krishna says, all purposes served by a small well can at once be served by a great reservoir of water. Similarly, all the purposes of the Vedas can be served to one who knows the purpose behind them. Now, people, when they study the Vedas, because they studied from Karma Kanda perspective, for them, Vedas were like a book of solutions to their problems. You have this problem, you worship this demigod. You have that problem, worship that demigod. And in that way, you solve your life. So in this example, or analogy given here in this verse, what does Lord Krishna do? He's comparing. He's saying, you can see there's a nice, illustration here, a painting, that people are going to well to fetch water. In the past, in a village, there would be different wells for different purposes. Not that one well was used for all purposes. Some wells were used for bathing purpose. Some wells were used for drinking water purpose. Some wells were used for washing clothes. Some wells were used for worshipping the deity in the temple. Also, there were wells in Brahmana community, wells in Shudra community. So from a well from which a Brahmana took water, a Shudra could not take water. And so many such things were there, right? So people had to go to different wells to collect water for different purposes. But if in the same village there would be a river flowing, there was no monopoly of anyone on that river water. Anyone can take river water from anywhere. Even a dog can go to the river and drink water, and no one will say, a Brahmana cannot say, no, this river is mine or this bank is mine. Dog can drink, cat can drink, like cows can go and take bath there, no problem. Even a Brahmana will take bath. Even Shudras can take bath. That's okay. So here, this is the comparison being done, that different wells are compared to different demigods or karmakanda rituals. You go and collect water from them or basically fulfill your needs. And the other is you go to the river, which is compared to Krishna, or Buddhi Yoga, chanting of the holy names of Krishna. And all your needs are fulfilled, right? You don't have to go to different places. So Krishna says that's more intelligent to do. And he says, one who knows the Vedas, the purpose of the Vedas, he can easily find that the ultimate solution of studying the Vedas is to serve Krishna, which will be like, going to the river and getting everything done. Let's read the purport. The rituals and sacrifices mentioned in the Karma Kandas division of the Vedic literature are meant to encourage gradual development of self-realization. And the purpose of self-realization is clearly stated in the 15th chapter of the Bhagavad-gita, 15.15. The purpose of studying the Vedas is to know Lord Krishna, the primeval cause of everything. So self-realization means understanding Krishna and one's eternal relationship with him. The relationship of the living entities with Krishna is also mentioned in the 15th chapter of Bhagavad-gita, 15.7. The living entities are parts and parcels of Krishna. Therefore, revival of Krishna consciousness by the individual living entity is the highest perfectional stage of Vedic knowledge. This is confirmed in the Srimad Bhagavatam 3.33.7 as follows. Aho batasra pachato togariyan yajjivagrivartate namatubhyam te pustapaste juhu sasnurarya brahmanuchu ramagrinanti ete. O my Lord, a person is chanting your holy name, although born of a low family, like that of a Chandal, dog-eater, is situated on the highest platform of self-realization. Such a person must have performed all kinds of penances and sacrifices according to Vedic rituals and studied the Vedic literatures many, many times after taking his bath in all the holy places of pilgrimage. Such a person is considered to be the best of the Aryan family. Right. Next paragraph. Shishti.
Hare Krishna. So one must be intelligent enough to understand the purpose of the Vedas without being attached to the rituals only. And one must not desire to be elevated to the heavenly kingdoms for a better quality of sense gratification. It is not possible for the common man in this age to follow all the rules and regulations of the Vedic rituals, nor is it possible to study all the Vedanta and the Upanishads thoroughly. It requires much time, energy, knowledge, and resources to execute the purpose of the Vedas. This is hardly possible in this age. The best purpose of Vedic culture is served, however, by chanting the holy name of the Lord, as recommended by Lord Chaitanya, the deliverer of all fallen souls. When Lord Chaitanya was asked by a great Vedic scholar, Prakashananda Saraswati, why he, the Lord, was chanting the holy name of the Lord like a sentimentalist instead of studying Vedanta philosophy, the Lord replied that his spiritual master had found him to be a great fool and thus asked him to chant the holy name of Lord Krishna. He did so and became ecstatic like a madman. In this age of Kali, most of the population is foolish and not adequately educated to understand Vedanta philosophy. The best purpose of Vedanta philosophy is served by inoffensively chanting the holy name of the Lord. Vedanta is the last word in Vedic wisdom, and the author and knower of the Vedanta philosophy is Lord Krishna. And the highest Vedantist is the great soul who takes pleasure in chanting the holy name of the Lord. That is the supreme, ultimate purpose of all Vedic mysticism.
Thank you. Okay. List advantages of approaching the river than approaching many different wells. We already mentioned some of those advantages, but can you also think of some other advantages?
Roji, may I?
Yeah, Prabhu.
So river water is considered to be, always fresh compared to the well water. When well water is replenished or fresh water is replenished only during the rainy season, but river water is always fresh.
Very good. Thank you. Sometimes an animal like a bird or a rat or a dog falls in the well. Then what do you have to do? You have to clean up the whole well, remove the entire water, remove the creature from it, and then, there are issues like that. But river, nothing like that. Always clean, always fresh, because it's running water, fresh water, right? It's not stale. Yes, that's one advantage. Any other advantage?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Like wells get contaminated very fast. Even like for sanitation and all, you have to construct the manholes and all much further compared to the river, which does not get contaminated unless the industrial waste or anything is discharged there. And plus
Correct.
wells, you have to go for different purposes. You have to go different wells. Whereas river, you can just go to one source and all your needs are satisfied. Hare
Very
Krishna.
good. Thank you. And
Prabhuji, may I?
yeah,
So as per the Mataji said, we don't have to go to different places. So, and river will solve all our purposes, Prabhuji. So our time and energy will be saved, na?
time will be saved, energy will be saved. Correct.
Yes, yes.
Yes. And
So
someone
going
mentioned in
to
the chat
Krishna, everything
box.
will be saved. We will have
Correct.
enough time to do Krishna consciousness.
Correct. You don't have to worship this demigod today, another demigod
Yeah,
tomorrow.
yeah, correct. वो stress नहीं आएगा.
Stress need. Correct.
Yeah.
And then in well, the limited, there's limited supply. In river, there's unlimited supply. Correct. What else?
Hare Krishna,
And-
Prabhu.
Yes.
Prabhu, while the river water is flowing all along the way, so it carries so much minerals, whereas well is limited with the in situ minerals. Likewise, Veda gives full flow, means full benefits we can derive from the Vedas, Prabhu.
Which Vedas here, even the wells are compared to Vedas. But which part of the Vedas? The wells
Means-
are compared to Karma Kanda section of the Vedas.
No.
River is compared to the Bhakti part of the Vedas.
In this means from Krishna we derive all the sources.
Right.
Prabhuji, may I?
Yeah.
Prabhuji, the source of river, from where the river is Udgam Sthal, it will always remain, it will be there always, Prabhuji. But in the well, sometimes we have seen that the well water get dried up sometimes. Then the supply of water is not there at all. But river is always, the Udgam Sthal of river will always remain there, and you will get little, if not more than at least some some water you will always get from there, from river.
Correct. So there's this difference, temporary supply and permanent supply.
Supply,
Right.
yes.
Correct. Okay. Fine.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hmm.
Deriving benefits from the river is like watering the roots of a plant, whereas from different wells, it's like worshipping different demigods for different purposes. Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you. So now in these verses from 41 to 46, we discuss Buddhi Yoga. In the next 47 to 53 also we are going to discuss Buddhi Yoga. But in 41 to 46, we discussed about Bhakti Yoga within the category of Buddhi Yoga. In the verses 47 to 53, we are going to discuss Nishkama Karma Yoga within the category of Buddhi Yoga. As I mentioned in the previous class, the term Buddhi Yoga can mean Bhakti Yoga as well as Nishkama Karma Yoga. Right? They can, they are not same, but Buddhi Yoga is a big category, a broader category. And within that category, we have these two different subcategories. So Bhakti Yoga has been described so far. Vyavasayatmika Buddhi, all that. Now, Nishkam Karma Yoga will be described within the section of Buddhi Yoga. Okay. And both will lead to self-realization. And then later on, Arjuna will ask about the symptoms of such a self-realized soul in verse 2.54. Fine. Any questions so far? What we discussed before we take a break? And we start from verse number 47.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Tanut Pranam. Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Yes. Prabhuji, I just want to know that this Bhakti Yoga, which is also known as Buddhi Yoga, so what is the difference between the real Bhakti Yoga and this Bhakti Yoga? This is also known as Buddhi Yoga.
Same, it's no difference.
No difference.
No difference.
Okay.
It's the same. Any other question?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, in 2.41 verse, there is mentioned Jyotish Toma sacrifice. So, what does it really means?
Jyotishtama sacrifice. It's one of the sacrifices mentioned in the Karma Kanda section. What it is, how it is performed, no details are there in Prabhupada's purports, or our acharyas have not explained how it is performed. So I don't know what is the process of doing it. It's mentioned as one of the Karma Kanda sacrifices. People do different kinds of sacrifices in the area of Karma Kanda. So one of them is this. An example is given, a name is given. That's all. But nothing for us to understand deeply.
One more question, Prabhuji. Many times when I heard, many times Prabhupada in his lectures instruct us to develop ourselves in the mode of goodness. But here Krishna instructs Arjuna to become transcendental to these three modes. So, Prabhuji, how
Very
to
good question.
understand?
Yeah, so here Krishna is asking Arjuna to become transcendental to the three modes, because Krishna is talking about the ultimate process of bhakti. However, we know that one cannot always directly jump to that highest level. So therefore, one has to go through the gradual path. Slowly, slowly come to goodness. After you have come to goodness, then from goodness you go to transcendental platform. So the direct method is not always possible for everyone. Therefore, the gradual method is then prescribed. Like, not everyone can directly take sannyas. So what is the gradual method then? Brahmachari, Kriyas, Vanaprastha, sannyas. Right? Similarly, one may not be able to directly go beyond the three modes, transcendental, which is pure bhakti. So one slowly goes, first coming to goodness and then from goodness going to transcendence. Explain Brahma Jyoti. Brahma Jyoti is effulgence of the Supreme Lord, Krishna. It's like, it's the energy, you can say. It's an energy of Krishna, which comes as effulgence of Krishna. And it's a place of eternal existence, with complete brightness. And those who are self-realized souls, who are incomplete in their realization, they try to go to that region of eternal existence and just stay there, or live there, pass their time there. That's Brahmacharya. Fine. That's Brahmajyoti.
Prabhuji,
Yeah,
then they doesn't come back or stay forever there.
they come back after a long, long time. If there's no activity there, so they come back. They don't stay there forever as such, but they come back. They stay for a long time. Okay. Anything else?
Prabhuji, after they come back from Brahmajyoti, do they have to again go through the 84 lakh species?
Depends, no? If they come back from Brahmajyoti and then they get a human birth, and then in that human birth they become pure devotee of Krishna, then why they have to go through 84 lakh species? It's definitely true that from Brahmajyoti, if they fall, they'll not immediately become animals or plants. They'll be born as yogis. They will get a good birth, very good birth. But then how do they utilize that birth? That will decide now whether they'll go through the 84 lakh species cycle or not. So it's a wrong understanding that the existence of soul ends after merging into the Brahmajyoti. Yeah, it's wrong understanding. The existence of soul never finishes. It's always existing. It's always existing. There's nothing like merging and then completely losing your existence. That is not possible. Of course, Prabhupada says if someone wants to do that, then Krishna may just, you know, dissolve that person's existence. But that is temporary. After a long time, again, that person will get removed from that Brahman effulgence and fall into material atmosphere. Somewhere it is written in some Puranas that Brahmajyoti is the area where you also have Mahesh Dham, the abode of Lord Shiva, in his eternal position as Sadashiv. So these souls who are present in Brahmajyoti for a long time, Lord Shiva kicks them out. That's his mercy upon them. He kicks them out and then sends them back to material world so that they can again get a chance to perform bhakti if they want. You know. So sometimes he kicks them, sometimes he pierces his trishul onto them. And then those jivas, they fall in the material world and enter into gems and stones. You know of these different gems that are valuable. So they enter into those gems and stones. And then slowly, slowly they evolve. So like that, there are different Puranas which tell about this. So for a lesser intelligent person, worshipping Brahmajyoti is higher than worshipping demigods. So in a way, it's a better form of worship, right? No. It depends on what is the mentality. If someone is a Mayavadi, then that is very, very, very wrong, very much condemned. If one is worshipping the universal form of the Lord, then that is better than demigod worship. At least in demigod worship, there is a sense of personalism, that the demigods are persons, and I have to become a servant of them. I don't want to become one with them. You know, because that spirit of servitude is there, demigod worship is better than the idea of merging into Brahman. Because when one is thinking of merging into Brahman, one is thinking of becoming one with the Supreme Lord. In demigod worship, one is not trying to become one with that demigod. One is trying to become a servant of that demigod. So that spirit of servitude is still there, which is nice, which is good, right? So in that sense, demigod worship will be better because you are still worshipping a personality. And though you are worshipping for a material cause, a material agenda, you're worshipping a personality and you want to become a servant of that personality. Whereas in case of having this desire of merging with the Supreme Lord, this is considered as hellish. Completely wrong.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, can a person be elevated to the Vaikuntha or Krishna Lok being in a demigod planet?
Yes, possible. One can go upward from there also. One need not always come to material planet, Earth, to go up. One can go up from the heavens. That's called Krama Mukti, which means you're a demigod. So you worship Lord Vishnu, then you'll get a promotion and you go to a higher planet, and then you get a promotion, you get to a higher planet. Then ultimately you reach Brahma Loka or Satya Loka, the planet of Lord Brahma. There you serve Lord Brahma as a Vaishnava. So, and then from there, when Brahmaji will die, his life will end. He will take you to Vaikuntha. It's called Krama Mukti. No direct entrance. This way you go. So Madhvacharya or Madhva Sampradaya, they believe in this kind of mukti. They don't believe in direct going to Golok Dham and all that. For them, this is the understanding that at the ultimate end, Brahmaji will take you back to Godhead. When he will go. That's their belief or understanding in Madhva Sampradaya. So that is one way.
Prabhuji, what about the who is merged in a Brahma Jyoti? They are also eligible to be promoted.
Yes. Yes, in Brahma Jyoti, if they get pure devotee association. But it should be difficult to find. So they have to come back.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, you said that one who lands up in Brahm Jyoti, and that is also like Lord Shiva is there and he'll pierce his Trishul and they fall down as gems and stones. And then they can evolve gradually. But Prabhuji, like gems and stones, they are apara shakti, that's non-living, it's not spiritual. Then how a non-spiritual thing will become spiritual, Prabhuji? One
The
question.
body is made up of stone, but there is soul inside that.
Oh.
There. Now, your body, is it not made up of earth?
Yes, Prabhuji.
What is that stone also? That is also made up of earth.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
But that stone has life. That's why when you wear that stone, you get some energy from that stone. Because it has life.
Okay. Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
The ones who have their hands up, is it for question or for reading? If it's for reading, please put it down. Next. Someone has this. Okay. Paramagati Prabhu. In the Mahabharata, everything is there. Bhakti is also there. It's not really highlighted as the highest. In pockets, yes. But it's not something that stands out. Hence, Srila Prabhupada is criticized for translating Buddhi Yoga, Karma Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. Since if you read Bhagavad-gita in the context of Mahabharata, these are different terms technically. So how do we understand or reconcile that these are part of our Bhakti? Srila Prabhupada is criticized for explaining everything as Bhakti. That's what Prabhu, I think, is trying to say here. He will describe Karma Yoga as also Bhakti and Jnana Yoga as also Bhakti and everything is Bhakti. But in truth, it's not so, right? It's not really Bhakti. So how to understand all this? This is something which is definitely a matter of discussion and it may also become a little controversial. But you know what Srila Prabhupada did is he gave the essence. He gave the essence that the essence is Krishna consciousness, bhakti. So he thought at the end of reading Bhagavad-gita, if a person is going to come to this conclusion that I want to do bhakti to Krishna, why should he or she wait till the end? Let me tell that person this conclusion right from the beginning. So, in order to make it easy for people, he gave that conclusion right from the beginning. That this is bhakti, and he gave that conclusion right from the beginning. And it may appear controversial. It may appear that he's trying to play with the actual message of Gita, but he's not doing so. Another thing, when we say karma yoga, when we say jnana yoga, when we say dhyana yoga, we should know the word yoga which is being used there means connection to the Supreme. Now, our acharyas have very nicely explained that karma, until unless it is mixed with little amount of bhakti, cannot give any permanent result. Jnana, until it is mixed with little amount of bhakti, it can never give permanent result. Similarly, dhyana, until it is mixed with little amount of bhakti, it cannot give any result. So what Prabhupada did is, instead of saying karma yoga is karma yoga, he told that as bhakti yoga. But then not really the pure kind of bhakti yoga. that Bhakti Yoga, which has karma in great proportions, and Bhakti maybe in little proportions. Right? So, yes, for someone who wants to thoroughly understand Bhagavad-gita, that person must study Bhagavad-gita as explained by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Bhakti Bhushan, because they should clearly understand the difference between Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. But because Srila Prabhupada knew that layman people will only get too much confused, so to make it simple for them, he made everything Bhakti. Right? And that's why layman people have no problem with Prabhupada's commentary. It's only the people who are too much in their head. They have a problem with Prabhupada's commentary. A layman does not have, And Prabhupada himself says somewhere that if you want to make good progress in Krishna consciousness, you should understand the differences between Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, etc. Honestly speaking, the bhakti that we do in iskcon, now, I don't want to make any controversial statements, so let it remain within the classroom. The bhakti we do within iskcon, honestly speaking, it is Nishkama Karma Yoga. In general, the bhakti we do in iskcon, or it's Karma Yoga. It's not really Bhakti Yoga for everyone. Why? Because as per Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, pure Bhakti Yoga means you don't do anything outside the 9 activities of Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. Your 24 hours should go on only in these 9 activities. That is pure Bhakti. Right? Rest all is karma, nishkama karma, gyan, mixed with bhakti. But there is a twist. What is that twist? The twist is, if you do karma yoga because of the order of the spiritual master, who is a pure devotee of Krishna, or you do nishkam karma yoga because of the order of the spiritual master, who is a pure devotee of Krishna, then that becomes pure bhakti. And because Prabhupada is a pure devotee of Krishna, he tells us to do anything. If you just do that Prabhupada said, it becomes pure bhakti. Right? So now someone may say, how can it become pure bhakti just because Prabhupada said? Because Krishna has given that license to Srila Prabhupada. Simple. Now, if Prabhupada says, you drive the car to Jayanand Prabhu, you drive taxi, you earn money, and with that money you run the temple, that's pure bhakti. No, that's pure bhakti. It's not karma yoga, or nishkama karma yoga. That's pure bhakti. So these all intricacies are there now. Yes, in Bhakti-sastri we can try to understand all this, but in general we cannot. I mean, for new person it will be difficult to understand. Yes. All right. Lalita Prishta Gopi Padusha.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Just want ask for text 45 is mentioned the main content Veda is discussing is about the three gunas. Well, just want to how much percent, because Veda is divided into 4 parts, and Atharva Veda is mainly for those Upanishads, right? And so what's the percentage in between those Kama and Jnana and Bhakti?
Can you ask again, please?
I just want to how much percent of Bhakti, Jnana, and Karma is discussed in Vedas, different kind of Vedas, especially in the 4 divided Vedas.
95% it is karma. Right? Very little is Gyan. And Bhakti is almost like negligible. Bhakti is very indirectly given in the Vedas. Not directly given. Very less. Mostly
Maybe
it's
less
karma
than
kanda.
1%. Mm.
Very less, very, very less. Karma kanda is most. Bhakti is very less. That's why it was a great task done by the Goswamis that they found about bhakti from all the scriptures. Nana Shastra Vicharanai Kanipuno Sadharma Sanstapako Lokanam Hitakarino. Right? Nana Shastra Vicharino. They studied so many different scriptures and then from there found where is bhakti, where is bhakti, where is bhakti, where is bhakti given verse. Whereas bhakti was hidden, not present. No one was interested in it. Just like to give you an example, if you have to go to a college and you have to give a presentation, and the demand or the request is, sir, we know you are a Krishna conscious person belonging to iskcon and you are going to only talk about Krishna, but please, our agenda is not that. Our agenda is you teach management from Bhagavad-gita. So what you will do? In a 40-minute discussion, you will somehow or other try to insert bhakti in few places. One shloka from Gita here, one or two Hare Krishnas there, and then that will be a presentation, that let me hide bhakti and present it because these people are not interested in bhakti. Correct? That was the style of presentation adopted by Vyasadeva. He put bhakti little here, put bhakti little there, and gave different subject matters. Okay.
Thank you, Babuji. Another question about the 46. It's mentioned that Vedas Brahmanasya Vijanataha means when we understand the Brahman, and then it will be situated in the foreknowledge. So, but you mentioned that this text is for Bhakti Yoga. So it seems that this Brahman word is referred to the impersonal level of Krishna. So how this is discussing bhakti, except we can see something from Prabhupada's purport. So just want to say here why it's not mentioned. It's Bhagavan or maybe just Krishna directly.
I could not understand certain things.
Maybe let me rephrase it. In this text 46, there is the last sentence, Brahmanasya Vijanataha. It means, I see the translation here means when one understands the Brahman, and it will, he or she will be situated on the complete knowledge. I feel this text is discussing about how to say, Brahman level realization rather than Bhakti level, rather than Bhagavan level. So just confused a little bit about the word used here.
Nothing like that. When you say Supreme Brahman, it means basically you are situated in absolute knowledge. So that can apply for anyone. It can apply for devotee also. It's not only for someone who is self-realized. Even a devotee is situated on the platform of Brahman. To be situated on the platform of Brahman means to be situated on the platform of Atma. So that can be used for anyone, devotee, Vaishnava, pure devotee, or someone who is just a person who is liberated. Not just someone who is interested in Brahma Jyoti.
Then why this text is mentioned about Bhakti Yoga? But here, in case it's emphasized the Vedas is for understand Brahman level. It seems it's just the start point of Bhakti Yoga.
You come to Brahman, and from there you rise to the level of bhakti. In chapter 18 is described. First you become self-realized, then you become eligible for practicing pure devotion service. That's right.
Okay. Okay.
Until unless I become self-realized, I am spirit soul, how will I engage in pure devotion service? So one has to become Brahman realized, naturally, to become God realized. Okay, we'll take a short break. See you after the break. Hare Krishna. The description given here of Buddhi Yoga was Bhakti Yoga. In verse 2.47 to 53, Krishna will talk of Nishkama Karma Yoga as Buddhi Yoga. So,
your video is off, bro.
let's read the next verse. 47. Karmanyevadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala heturbhur ma te sangvastva karmani. You have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of action. Never consider yourself the cause of the results of your activities, and never be attached to not doing your duty. Right? So Krishna says, Karmani eva adhikaraste. Arjuna, you have a right to do your duties. Karmana adhikara. Now this verse, we can derive another meaning out of it, which is not always highlighted by Srila Prabhupada. He indirectly mentions it, but does not highlight it. So Krishna says, Karmana eva adhikara. Your adhikar or your qualification. Adhikar means qualification. It can also mean right, and it means qualification also. So he says, your qualification is to perform karma. Now, this is something which is a lesson for us, the readers of Bhagavad-gita, based on our position in the society, as well as our spiritual progress. We have different qualifications to perform devotional service. Not all have the same qualification. In Sanskrit known as adhikar. For Arjuna, it was karma adhikar. Whereas for Uddhavji, to whom Krishna spoke again Bhagavad-gita, it was not karma adhikar. It was jnana adhikar. And for someone, if Krishna speaks Bhagavad-gita, that person may have bhakti adhikar. So there are these three things: karma adhikar, jnana adhikar, bhakti adhikar. For Arjuna, Krishna is making it very clear. Karmani eva adhikaraste. Your adhikar is to do karma, which means you have to do your duties of a Kshatriya warrior. As per that, you should act. For someone, this may not be the adhikar. For that person, it may be just sit down and study. For someone, the adhikar may be chant 64 rounds a day or 108 rounds a day. Now, that's a different subject matter. But here, Krishna is saying, for you, the adhikar is to perform karma. But though that is your right, karmaneva adhikaraste, ma phaleshu. You don't have the right over the results of what you do. You only have the rights to do your duty. Now, then Arjuna may say that then if I don't get the results are not going to be mine. Why should I work? So then Krishna says, Ma karma phala hetur bhur mate sango astva karmani. Right? Never consider yourself the cause of the results of your activities and never be attached to not doing your duty. So though you are not going to be the enjoyer of the results of your activity, neither you are going to be the cause of the results of your activity. Still, if you think, why should I act? No, you must act. You must perform your duty. So this brings up a point that why Krishna made such a system there? The answer is karma leads to purification. When we study later chapters of Gita, we'll come to know jnana never leads to purification. Karma leads to purification. Jnana is the result of purification. Right? So if you say, I'll study Bhagavad-gita and then I'll get this knowledge, I'm spirit soul, so this knowledge will purify me. No, this knowledge alone will not purify us. When we work based on this knowledge, that will purify us. Just knowing I am spirit soul will not purify me. But when I work based on this knowledge, that will purify me. Therefore, just studying the scriptures is not really the right process of making progress in bhakti. You have to study the scriptures and then apply in your life. There has to be practical application. Then you will make progress in spiritual life. There has to be jnana plus karma based on that jnana. Right? So Krishna says, work. That's your duty. That's your adhikar. And because you're controlled by the three modes, you will work. Even if I stop you from working, you'll be forced to work. Your nature will push you to work. But then don't consider yourself as the cause of the results of your activities and as the enjoyer of those results. You give that to me, or you offer that as a sacrifice. So Arjuna here may say, these are some arguments given by Vishwanath Chakravarti. Since I am not this body, I need not work. Krishna says, no, you have to work, but you should not desire to enjoy the fruits of your activities. So Arjuna, if I want to enjoy, what will happen? Krishna, you become the cause of the act. What's wrong with that? Krishna, you will be bound then by the result of the activity. Oh, perhaps it's better than I do nothing. That is not allowed. That's not permitted. Right? So, what is meant by dutiful work? This is a very nice definition given by Buddhi and Prabhu. Dutiful work is defined as dispassionate, proper actions in which the performance is its own reward. That's dutiful work. Dispassionate, proper action in which the action itself is the reward. That's dutiful. Not that you do it to get something. So let me ask you something. If I study Bhagavad-gita with an agenda in mind, will that be considered dispassionate? No. But if I study Bhagavad-gita and 2 hours of my study makes me happy and blissful, that I studied Gita, after that I don't want anything from that study. Will that be dispassionate? Yes.
No.
Yes. Don't think because you got happiness, it's not dispassionate. Happiness will come. Right? That's why sometimes, devotees have a very wrong understanding. They think it's sinful to be happy. It's not sinful to be happy. Right? There's nothing wrong with being happy. Sometimes, how can you be so happy? Yeah, life is full of problems. Threefold miseries are there. There's nothing wrong being happy. But then be happy with what? With what you are doing. That's all. Not what you are going to get out of it. Dispassionate way of performing things, both in material and spiritual circle. That's dutiful work, Anishkam karma. And that kind of work brings purification. Right? That brings purification. Okay. Now, some explanations are given by the purport. Let's read the purport. Who wants to read? Vaichi Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. There are three considerations here: prescribed duty, capricious work, and inaction. Prescribed duties are activities enjoined in terms of one's acquired modes of material nature. Capricious work means action without the sanction of authority, and inaction means not performing one's prescribed duties. The Lord advised that Arjuna not be inactive, but that he perform his prescribed duty without being attached to the result. One who is attached to the result of his work is also the cause of the action. Thus, he is the enjoyer or sufferer of the results of such action. As far as prescribed duties are concerned, they can be fitted into three subdivisions, namely routine work, emergency work, and desired activities. Routine work performed as an obligation in terms of the scriptural injunctions without desire for results is action in the mode of goodness. Work with results becomes the cause of bondage. Therefore, such work is not auspicious. Everyone has a proprietary right in regard to prescribed duties, but should act without attachment to the result. Such disinterested obligatory duties doubtlessly lead one to the path of liberation. Arjuna was therefore advised by the Lord to fight as a matter of duty without attachment to the result. His non-participation in the battle is another side of attachment. Such attachment never leads one to the path of salvation. Any attachment, positive or negative, is cause for bondage. Inaction is sinful. Therefore, fighting as a matter of duty was the only auspicious path of salvation for Arjuna. Hare Krishna.
Yes, thank you. So three types of works are mentioned here: prescribed duties, capricious work, and inaction. Right? Let's look at this chart or this table. Prescribed duty is called karma in Sanskrit. Capricious work is called vikarma, and inaction is called akarma. So prescribed duty can be of three types: routine, emergency, and desired, known as nitya, right? Naimittika, and kamya. So nitya is performed as an obligation without desire for results. That kind of duties lead to liberation when performed in the right spirit. Vikarma and akarma will lead to
Painful reaction.
bondage. So I have a question for all of you. If someone is born in a fisherman community or fisherman tribe, and that person's father has been a fisherman, that person's grandfather has been a fisherman, and we are not talking about the present day society where, the varnas are all mixed. We are talking about ancient times when fishermen tribe lived separate from the other people in the society. All right, not the modern times. In those days, when you could not switch to a different profession very easily. At present, it's very easy to switch to a different profession. But in those days, You are bound to follow the profession in which you are born. Correct? Getting my point? I'm talking of a society. In that case, let's say someone is born as a fisherman. If that person fishes and sells those fish to earn his her livelihood, fine. Can still that person do that kind of activity in Nishkam spirit?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Can still that person be a self-realized soul?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes.
Yes, Prabhuji.
And though that person is selling fishes, still can that person also be free from sin?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh.
Very, very good. Yes. Because that person is just doing his prescribed duty. Fine. Understood? That's why you get stories in Mahabharata. There was a butcher who gave the knowledge of self-realization to a Brahmana. A butcher is cutting flesh, sinful activity, but giving knowledge of self-realization to a Brahmana. Why? Because that butcher was doing his prescribed duty. I am born in a butcher family. What can I do? This is my profession. But that person could be self-realized. However, in the present modern day society, if someone is doing such kind of activity, we will suggest no, because the society gives you the freedom to switch over to a different profession very easily. Don't perform those kind of sinful professions. Right? But in the past, there was strong possibility. Someone is born in a particular situation. Externally, it might appear to be a very sinful situation. That person may be quite exalted in one's knowledge. Do those butcher and fishermen consume meat and fish? No. They will not. They will only sell. Getting it? Yeah. So this is how. Now let me ask you another question. If a Brahmana does not do three sandhya, will it be considered sinful?
Yes.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Prabhu.
But if a Brahmana does three sandhya, will it be considered pious?
Yes.
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 No.
No.
It may not.
No. If the Brahmana does not do, it will be considered sinful. If the Brahmana does, it will not be considered pious activity. It will be considered his duty.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Not that he has done something great. That's his duty. Okay. Now, if a Shudra, does not do three sandhya, sinful?
No.
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 But if the Shudra is instructed by a higher authority, I allow you to do a spiritual activity 3 times a day. If that Shudra does it, it will become punya.
Yes.
Yes.
Highest activity.
Yes.
Yes.
Depends.
Because Shudra's duty is to perform, to give service to all other Brahman, Kshatriya, and Vaishya.
Correct. So this is how it is, I mean, try to understand that sometimes our approach to understanding the scripture is it applies same to all. No, it applies differently based on where you were born, what was your past, To remember is, I mean, of course, this is a controversial thing, but I totally agree with this. His Holiness Yogendra Swami Maharaj, he once asked Prabhupada. Some people they say this is not correct, but I agree with it. There's no public record of this conversation, and there are not many public records of many conversations, right? So Navyogendra Swami Maharaj asked Prabhupada, that Srila Prabhupada, you are giving sannyas so easily to these Western people, right? The Western boys, and you're not giving sannyas so easily to We, the Indians. Why? He asked this question. Because Navayan Saimraj belongs to a Brahmana family. Coming from Kashmir, Kashmiri Brahmin. So he said, you're not giving sannyas to Indians so easily, and you're giving sannyas to these Western boys. So you know what did Prabhupada say? Even if they fall down, they'll not be considered very sinful because they're already fallen. They'll not be considered sinful, they're already fallen. But if you fall down, right, because you are born in a Brahmin family and you are from India, if you fall down, then it will be very, very sinful. Right? So, such things are there. Such things are there. Krishna is saying, if you do your duty in a Nishkam spirit, slowly, 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 it will lead to liberation. Does the duty himself. I did not get it. What is this? Acha. There are some questions now. If you continue with the side conversations in the chat box, no? The problem is I'll not be able to understand what is the question, I mean, for me, and what is the question for other students. So please avoid that, because then I'll have to filter, okay, which question is answered and which is not answered. Right. Okay, fine, no problem. I'll not answer the questions put in the chat box. If you have a question, you ask.
Shall I?
Yeah.
Prabhuji, you mentioned that example of the fisherman. He not incurring sin, or his activity is still accepted as routine activity of fishing and selling. But we saw that in that there are three categories: routine, and emergency, and the desire. So what would fall under desired activity for a fishing?
You want to get married, that's a desired activity, kama karma. But that you don't do every day, isn't it? You want to have a son, that's a kama karma. But then you don't do that every day. That's kama karma. Emergency, you understand what emergency is sometimes, right? Naimittika. Nitya means daily, every day, based on your varna and Shri. Fine. All the hands which are up are for questions.
It's for reading flow, actually.
No, your is for reading. What about others? Megha, Mataji. All the hands which are up for questions. Nagaraj and Prabhu, question.
Prabhuji, in such case, if the fish seller is selling fish, so normally when the sinful activities goes to those who are selling and those who are buying and those who are
That
cooking.
is fine. That is a general law.
Okay.
It's fine. But if I am doing it in Nishkam spirit, it will not come to me.
Okay.
I'll be out of that cycle.
Okay.
Okay, Mukund, fine. We got your point. We got your question. You can ask about that to me in WhatsApp personally. Khushbu, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Puji, you told in class that just studying the scriptures will not lead to progress, but Prabhupada ji is always saying, read my books, read my books. Better you become bookworms than schoolworms. So, what is the real meaning of book reading then?
So Prabhupada said, read my book, because after you read, then only you'll apply. No? If you don't read, how will you apply? So he never said, you just read my book. If you read Prabhupada's statements, he said, you should read, you should think about it, and then you should apply. And second thing, we are doing reading as a devotional activity. Shravanam and Kirtanam. It's an anga of bhakti. Right? So it's not just only philosophical speculation or assimilation of information that you're doing. You're doing it as an offering to Krishna. We can read as an offering to Krishna, as a devotional service to Krishna. Krishna, I'm reading it for your pleasure. Then it becomes bhakti. Then even if you don't understand, no problem. Because you did it as an offering to Krishna. Right? That's what the South Indian Brahmana was doing. He was told by his guru, read Bhagavad-gita daily. He was not understanding Gita, but he was doing it as an offering to his spiritual master and Krishna, so he was benefited. So even if you don't understand, we are, let's say, not so intelligent, we don't understand the scriptures, no problem. But if you do it as an offering to Krishna, it becomes bhakti. Right. That is, we please try to understand, Kushu Mataji. This is something very special for us because Prabhupada is asking us to do so many things, even if those things are very, basic things. Because he is asking us to do those things, and we are doing with this understanding because Prabhupada said, I am supposed to do it, I'll do it. Just because of that obedience to the instruction of a pure devotee acharya, our activity becomes bhakti. Even if it is a very simple activity, because you are doing it as it's being told by Prabhupada. Right? Therefore, coming of Srila Prabhupada or coming of pure devotees in a human society is a blessing for the human beings. Because of their intervention, a normal activity also becomes devotional service. If we would have done those same activities on our own, it will not be considered as bhakti. But because they are involved, it becomes bhakti. Like to give an example, if you just drive a motor car, it will not be bhakti. But if you drive your spiritual master from one place to another place, it becomes bhakti. Now, who makes that activity of driving the motor car bhakti? The activity itself or the person for whom you are doing it?
The person for whom we are.
You're getting the point, right? So that's what, makes it very special for people of this planet. If they come in contact with iskcon, if they read Prabhupada books and they pick up instructions and start following those instructions, then you are doing service to Prabhupada and it becomes bhakti. Once a devotee in Australia wrote to Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada used to go to Australia only once a year, January, February. He went 5 times to Australia. 5 times, that's all. Once a year. For 1 month, he used to go to Australia, New Zealand, and come back. So one devotee mentioned to Prabhupada in a letter that we get your association once in a year. What about the 11 months? We don't get a chance to meet you, to ask you, to interact with you. What if we have doubts, we have confusions? What if we want personal instructions from you? You know what did Prabhupada say? He said, you read my books, all my instructions in my books are personal instructions. And he said, you follow those instructions. So you are following my personal instructions. And it becomes bhakti. Right. Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. No part of my query is answered. But Prabhuji, suppose if we are now also last 2 hours we are reading and listening, and we are we feel really happy and we derive pleasure out of it. But I heard in certain lecture that if you are deriving happiness out of this, then it is not in the mode of service. And if you
No,
want
who said so?
Krishna, in certain lectures, just,
That's
so
wrong. If you are doing it for your happiness, it's not devotional service. But if you are getting happiness out of it, you cannot say it's not devotional service.
but it is said that it is not in the mode of service to Krishna because you are.
No, that's wrong understanding.
Mhm.
If you are doing bhakti for your happiness, then it's not service attitude. But if you are doing bhakti and because of that bhakti you are happy,
Yes,
you
Prabhuji.
can't say that, oh, then it's not service. That means what? Then a devotee should always be crying.
Mhm. Okay, Prabhuji.
Actually, I'm telling you, Madhaji, something honestly. There are many people in this society, in this world, who are sadistic. Sadistic people? They have a problem being happy because they have suffered so much in life. They think life means suffering. So you should not be happy. And they think bhakti means that. Suffer, suffer, suffer. That's bhakti. That's not bhakti. Now, when you do bhakti for personal happiness, that's wrong. Then that's not devotional service because you're doing it for your happiness. But while doing bhakti, if you are becoming happy, what's wrong with it? There's nothing wrong.
And you can take it as service also to that particular personality, even if it's Krishna or Guru or anybody for that matter.
Yeah, of course. If you'll cry and you serve me, I'll better not want your service.
Okay, yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so
Isn't
much.
it right? Right or wrong?
Yes,
Why
Prabhuji.
why would Krishna want a servant who's always crying? Krishna will say, at least be happy sometimes.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Dandavat.
Sometimes we don't understand this point that if you want to be a good devotee who is satisfying Krishna, be happy in your Krishna consciousness. You'll give Krishna more pleasure because Krishna will think that he's happy being my devotee. Otherwise, whole day we are crying and Krishna say, my God, look at him. He is doing my bhakti and still crying. It will not make Krishna happy.
Yes, Prabhuji. I mean, many times you make bhog and, you offer it and you feel so happy. Yeah, as though you have satisfied Krishna.
That's
So,
fine. So you tell that devotee, you remain sad, I'm going to be happy. No
okay, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu, what is said in this verse? You have right to do your duty. Why it is not said you have to do it or you must do it? Is it just polite expression or there is some hidden meaning?
No. If someone may say, I don't have a right to do my duty also because I'm not going to get the results. So Krishna is saying, no, you have a right to do your duty. I'm not snatching away that right from you. But you don't have a right to enjoy the results of your duty. This right you have. No one is asking you to not work at all. Work. The way you are designed, you are made, your nature is you work as per that nature. You have a right to do it. Krishna is not snatching away that right from us. That don't do anything, just remains inert, inactive. No, you have a right. But then you don't have a right over the results. Krishna will tell later also, no, that if you're born in this material world with a material body, you will always be active as per your nature. So that's your right in one sense. That's your nature. Right? And if we are talking about being very assertive or being very firm that you must do your duty, that Krishna is doing in other verses. It's not that he has to do that in every single verse. That he's doing in other verses also. Arjuna, this is your duty. You must fight. He's saying that. Correct, isn't it?
Yes.
Prabhuji, can we have an example for this?
For what?
For what you just explained, that you have a right to do, but no, not the right to enjoy the results.
You have a right to do your duty. Example. It's what kind of example you want?
And also not the right to enjoy the result of the. Because when we are doing the duty, we will naturally enjoy the result also, no, Prabhuji?
You
Why
will
we don't
enjoy,
have
but
the...
you will enjoy, but you should not want to enjoy. Like Prabhupada used to give examples. You make bhoga. For whom? For Krishna. Right? You offer that bhoga to Krishna. After that, who eats it? You eat it.
We.
So you enjoyed or not?
Yeah,
But
we
what was the
enjoy.
intention?
That Krishna enjoys it first.
First. So that should be the intention. Krishna enjoy. After that, you enjoy, no problem. Krishna does not have any problem with that. Right? That's okay. But what is the first intention? Similarly, if I go to work, I am getting a salary of 50,000 per month and I'm paying rent of 20,000 per month. So if I pay the rent thinking I'm paying the rent for my own house, still you are going to live in that house, right or wrong? But if you are thinking
Right.
I'm paying the rent for Krishna's house, still you are only going to live in that house, right or wrong?
Okay, yes, Prabhuji.
So in the case when you're thinking I'm paying rent for Krishna's house, it becomes Krishna karma. Fine. And when you think
Okay.
of I'm paying my rent, my house rent, then it doesn't become Krishna karma, it becomes Neha karma.
Okay.
Right? You're doing it for yourself. You're not doing it for Krishna. That's the point. Like, it's not that we will not enjoy. Naturally, we'll enjoy. But you will do it for Krishna. And you will celebrate also. You'll be happy also. Everything will be there. But it will be for Krishna. And because it is for Krishna, it is also for you.
Yes, okay, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Shamala Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Arjuna Karmadikar Uddhava Jnanadikar. Can we say Prabhupada is a Bhakti Adhikar?
Yes. Prabhupada is Bhakti Adhikar.
And who else, Prabhu, for Bhakti Adhikar?
All pure devotees of Krishna.
Okay. And second one, we progress, you said like all Shraddha, Nishta, Ruchi, all once we get the Ruchi, there are no chances to fall down, right? But some of them like
Who said?
fall down the.
Who said? One can fall down even from the platform Bhava.
Oh.
Fall down is
How,
possible.
Prabhu? How,
How?
Prabhu? Standard
Like I told
foundation
you.
is there, Shraddha and Nishta, standard foundation
Whatever
progress.
might be there, chances of lapse is there.
Gradually progressed and foundation is strong, Shraddha needs to be progressed like step by step gradually, then how
Because
fall down.
Anartha stay till the stage of Bhav.
Okay.
There are still some
Okay.
Anarthas which stay till the stage of Bhav.
Okay. And last one, Prabhu, can you tell the term you used, routine, nitya, and emergency, naimikam, and desired? Can you
Nitya
tell the
is
terms?
routine,
Yes.
desired is kamya, emergency is naimitya.
Naimik. Okay, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Bye, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I just, I'm trying to understand at least a takeaway from what you said in one of the things. So can I say the spiritual value of any activity is relative, though two persons may do the same activity? Because it
Yes.
depends on varna, ashram, the stage of devotion that the person is in, or even location. Would that be a
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yes. That's what I said. All of us are chanting 16 rounds, but result will not be the same because it's relative. Same mantra, Same spiritual master, same iskcon organization, same everything. But who is not same? The doer is not the same.
Right.
So that's why it's not going to be the same. It's a relative.
Okay. Thank you, Bhakti.
No. Mega Gupta Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, I have to ask ki when we prepare bhoga and our mood is to be like ki this bhoga should we prepare tasty so that of course Lord can take it and other people can release it. Does this
You have to repeat your question from the beginning. Make it very
yeah.
simple, clear.
Yeah. Prabhuji, I have to make clear that is it that attachment without action or not? Like if we prepare some bhogas for the Lord, so we think this preparation should be tasty so that Lord first, so that other devotees or people can release it. So and and appreciate it. So ये क्या है? मतलब this is also like a attachment with the fruits of action.
Let me rephrase your question. You are asking if you are preparing bhoga for Krishna, and then you have a desire to know whether this is cooked nicely or not. Right?
Yes, and yeah,
And then
Prabhuji. And other can can release it and appreciate it.
Other can relish and appreciate it. No problem. It's okay. You see, first of all, let me tell you something, Mataji. If we are new to Krishna consciousness, even if you are in Krishna consciousness for 5, 10, 15 years, little bit desire for appreciation, for let's not become so, what do you say, idealistic that tomorrow itself I'll become such a pure devotee that I will not want any appreciation. Because if that much appreciation will not come, no, let me tell you something. It will not take time for us to give up Krishna consciousness. So let us be who we are. If you are able to find some anarthas in you, that I have a desire for little appreciation, I do this, I do this, I do this. Let it be there. That is required for us to survive in Krishna consciousness. The kind of purity which we are thinking of, that, this much standard of purity we desire, there's nothing wrong to desire that. But that standard of purity comes with a lot of time of sadhana. It doesn't come overnight. So at our stage, if we are doing little sense gratification in Krishna consciousness, that's okay. Because we need that much sense gratification to stay in Krishna consciousness. Right? So it's fine. You are making something nice for Krishna, and then you have a desire that, if it is nice, then some devotee should tell you, yeah, it's nice, Mataji, you made a good preparation for it. It's okay, no problem. Fine. It's not very sinful thought. Right? It's okay. Let it be. Practice Krishna consciousness slowly, gradually over the time. That desire will go away. But till the time it does not go away, don't be so much bothered that I have this thinking, I have this thought. It's okay, it's fine, let it be. That's fine, it's okay. Let it be there. Instead of focusing on these things more, when we study Ishopanishad, no, it will become very clear to you. Madhvacharya says, instead of focusing more on your anarthas, focus more on the right things that you're supposed to do. don't focus on your anarthas more. Focus more on the right things that you are supposed to do. Doing those right things will remove the anarthas. Not thinking about the anarthas will remove the anarthas. Right? So in Ishopanishad commentary, he very nicely explains that sometimes we have this attitude that we focus too much on the wrong that is inside us. And that is also one kind of attachment. Right? So you should not think too much about it. Rather, you should think about the good things that you are supposed to do, the right things. And doing those right things will remove the anarthas in us. So it's okay. You have a desire for appreciation, no problem. Little bit, so let it be there. Little bit. Even if it is wrong, fine.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam.
Lalita Prashta.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Regarding this text 47 purport, I just want to confirm one point about the inaction of karma, because here in this purport, Prabhupada mentioned that this is how to say a karma or inaction is referring to how to say not do one's prescribed duties and which is sinful. But in Ishopanishad, we also learn this word akarma, which means we
The word akarma can mean different things.
Yeah, just want to
That's
confirm this is
one meaning of akarma is you don't do anything. That's akarma. Right? I mean, you just do nothing. That's akarma. Another meaning of akarma is you don't do what you are supposed to do. And another meaning of akarma is you do bhakti. Now, which meaning will apply when? That will depend on the shloka. What Krishna is saying in that shloka. So how will you understand that? You will understand from the purport given by Srila Prabhupada. Right? It's not that, okay, this is the only meaning and it will apply everywhere. No, based on the purport, you understand. Okay, in this purport, this is the meaning of the word karma. In this purport, this is the meaning of the word karma. In this purport, this is the meaning of the word karma.
Understood. That's why we need spiritual masters. Okay, understood.
Yes, because first of all, our Sanskrit is not our first language. So we don't know what is the language itself, right? And then Sanskrit is not that easy also. It has different meanings for the same word. So we need to understand the context. We don't know the context. So we read the purport, okay, here this means this, there it meant that. Different meanings. All right. Okay. Any other questions? What if someone should we endeavor for money first because everything in material world revolves around it? How to correlate bhakti, sadhana and material success? Should we endeavor for money first? Why there has to be money first? I mean, you endeavor for everything together, no? In the morning you wake up, you endeavor for chanting your rounds. Then you go to a job, you endeavor for earning money. Things can go together. It's not that first of all you earn money, then you sit and then you chant Hare Krishna for the rest of the life. Things can go parallel. Right? Yes, money is important, no doubt about it. But it's not the most important thing. So it can go parallel. You endeavor for money, you endeavor for bhakti, you endeavor for other responsibilities together. Yes, sometimes when you are going through a financial crisis in life, that time earning money may become a priority for you. If you are not so fixed up in Krishna consciousness. But this is not true that first let me earn money, then I'll do other things in life. Sometimes the whole life may get over and you may not earn money sufficiently at all. Isn't it? So Do things together. Yes, emergency situation, sometimes, yes, I may have to give 2 hours extra for earning money because I'm going through a financial crisis. That's okay. But not always. What if someone is born meat-eating family? Being toddler is consuming meat, is he incurring sin? Good question. As such, it is said that before age 5, if you do anything, it's not sinful. Well, not so much before age 5 or below age 5. Some places it's said below age 8. It's not sinful. Because you don't have your own viveka, your own discrimination. So not so sinful. And after that, yes, you have your viveka, so then yes.
But Prabhuji, that child may not get viveka because he is born in a meat-eating family. When
Why
continues
not?
for a long period of time, he
Why
will
not?
take it as
So,
a practice. Yes, it is
so
good to
that
eat.
is because of his past karma or her past karma, that he or she did not get a chance to develop good knowledge. Right? Then that is because of past. So then that shloka of Gita will apply, that those who are demoniac, Krishna will perpetually cast them into evil species of life. You're getting it? You're getting it? That those who are demoniac, then Krishna will put them in a situation that they are born in a demoniac family and they will never get spiritual knowledge.
But Prabhuji, when he is born and he is continuing in the meat-eating family where every member is eating, where will he get a chance to give that habit?
You will go and knock on their door and give them a book of Prabhupada.
Yes, if he happens to read the books and he has a different opinion, he can do it independently. Yes.
So that's why we have to do preaching. Correct.
And Prabhuji, when he grows
Yes.
up, he will have his own thinking in any case. He may not.
Yeah. You see, I'm telling you honestly, there's so many people born in meat-eating family. They never read any book. They never heard any sermon. They never come across a devotee. And sometime when they're 20, 25, a voice from inside comes to stop eating all this nonsense. Give up this. And they give it. There are many people like that.
Prabhuji, in this regard, I have a question. Like, being a devotee, if we pray for them, like if we know someone in our family who's eating non-veg, and if we pray for them, will it really help? Like, our prayers will help that they stop eating meat, because we feel sad that they are, even after teaching them, they're still eating non-veg.
Yes, if you pray, it may help. It will help. Krishna may intervene in their life, interfere in their life, and give them a chance.
And giving a prasadam, distributing prasadam to
course.
non-devotees is also kind of preaching, right?
Yes, it gives them good intelligence.
Mm.
They start thinking properly, appropriately.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Nagarajan.
Prabhuji, it is related to the recent question they have asked. We are also belong to the non-veg eating family. Sometime Krishna forcefully taken away from me by giving some disease and all. So through which I have given up for temporary medication basis. Later, I realized that why should I have to satisfy my tongue by killing the animals? Forever, I'll give up those meat eating activity. So I left. So somewhere around more than 19 years, I'm away from the non meat eating.
Correct. You see, so Prabhu is giving his own example. He did not come to Krishna consciousness, but before coming Krishna consciousness only, he gave up eating meat, right?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, see? So there are situations like that. Yes, Chaitanya Prabhu. You have to unmute yourself now.
Sorry. Hare Krishna Prabhu. It's regard about text 2.41, the many branches. Say you go direct to Krishna. As I've been brought up in London, unfortunately, the iskcon temple is not very organized compared to the other Hindu temple. So how do I go by this? We do have iskcon temple. They are very small. When there's a big program, sometimes you cannot go inside the temple because we can, but it's not very organized as other Hindu temples in UK, in London. So how do I go by this?
Go by what?
The temples. I just say that you directly, the route starts from Krishna. So we have iskcon temple, but they're not, unfortunately, they're not organized like in the Swaminarayan Sampradaya temple.
Opportunity
Like,
for organized in what sense?
Like the temple size.
But how does it matter?
Okay.
How does it matter?
Okay.
The point
I
is that
understand.
the point is that Krishna is the root, so you serve Krishna. That you can do sitting at home also.
Right, I do understand, yeah. But
right.
Even I have spoken to iskcon, they just said we have to learn from them when it comes to organizing. I'm just based in London.
I'm not able to understand what you are trying to say. I mean, how is the subject matter related to the temple structure, the temple size, the temple administration? There's no relation of what Krishna is saying here to that thing.
Okay, I don't know, I'm explaining properly. As regard 2.41, I've been following Krishna in last 2 years, but the way it's just the organized like temples and all that is not organized as other Hindu temples in London.
All right. I didn't understand your question still. Anyway.
Okay, sorry. Okay, sorry. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Right.
Question: the soul is eternal, then what is the role of Pitra Devatas independent of Krishna? Why we need to perform these rituals? You should have asked this question when we were discussing about Pitras, no? Four fathers and the topic of Shraddha. Soul is eternal. What is the role of Pitra Devatas independent of Krishna? We discussed this topic to some extent. So you watch that recording again, hear the class. And still, if you have a question, you can ask me on WhatsApp. All right, see you tomorrow, 10 a.m. Today, we could not complete the verses I had planned to complete. So tomorrow we'll go at a faster pace and complete those verses. All right. See you tomorrow. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.